ToM here. Tutorial Tuesday. Gonna go through this how to make this like Skrillex-y type of like wobble bass. Some guy messaged me on SoundCloud and he asked me to make a song like this, so I thought I'd do it. If you have any requests to do tutorials, I don't know how to make everything, but hit me up on SoundCloud or Facebook or whatever, and I'll try and do what I can do. But let's jump into this motherfucker. So this is the sound. Ooh, come on here, buddy. I had this in a previous, in a song here, this like Moonbakor song that sounds pretty tight. So that sounded pretty tight, but I had this sound. Where is it? This is the initial one here first. I'll mute this. So it'll be like. Obviously, that's the worst modulation going on right there. You need to speed that up a bit. So you get the gist. It's something like that. I took it out because I found this other sound that's better. But yeah, this is kind of, you can definitely make a Skrillex-y type of noise like this one. So let's do, let's start this up right here. New MIDI track. Massive. Alright, there is the blank patch. Okay, first one, start with additive. Where's additive? Additive 1, additive 2, I believe. Yeah. It's going to be in the format section. Drop the pitch down for the first one to -12. Then bring this over to here. I have like, on my one I had a bunch of macros programmed. But really, the only one I used was the performer, at the speed of the performer. So we may map that, may not. So move it over so it's facing about the end. Then this one, crank it all the way to the left. Keep the amp all the way up. The second one, we're gonna go for S-yard, scrapyard, and that's also gonna be in the format section. Pop this bad boy up to facing like between the S and the I. Drop it down to -12 as well. Then drop the intensity over to here. We're going to modulate the shit out of all this crap in a little bit. Put the amp to, yeah, about 9 o'clock. Third oscillator is on. It is additive V, which is additive 5. This one's going to be in spectrum, so keep that one there. Put the amp over to the right. To about the 3 o'clock. Keep these all the same. Bring this one down to -24 though. 24. Okay, all these filters, these we're gonna go to both of them. This one's gonna go up to filter number one. Modulation section, bring this down to -24 as well. 24. Crank this up just a smidgen. Gonna turn this one on. This one to 3, I believe, yes. So that sounded kind of growly already. Feedback, we want it on. The noise, we can turn off. I had it off. I can't remember why I did all these things, but this is just how I got to it. I turn the amp up, turn this one all the way down to filter 2. Okay, let's do the filter section. First filter, scream filter. It's just a badass scream one. Turn this all the way up, keep the resonance down, scream up to about the A, and this one up to about 9 o'clock. Second one is a double notch. Bring this over to, I'd say be pointing to this little half notch right there. Resonance up just a little bit. This one also pop it up. Okay, we want it to go into, we want it to be the filters to be in series. So that means not working at the same time, but one after each other, and put it down mixed to 2. Okay, all these, let's jump into the envelope section. All these envelopes are going to stay the same except for the last one. You should push the decay up. Oh, wrong one. Not the decay. The level up. So you get, so it's like a sustained note. Can't hear shit on it now. But what else are we going to do? Okay, so for the, let's do voicing? Yeah, sure. I had 8 voices, I believe. 8 voices. These are all the same. Pan position. I think I cranked it up. We can come back and mess with that. I gave it a little wider sound too. I think I had this on. Yeah. I put wave table. I just moved it over to about there. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. Let's do the first LFO section. So this one you need to change it to performer, which just gives you all these crazy different options to do this thing. I definitely mapped this one to one of the macros. This was just way easier to control a bunch with that. So put a macro on there. Keep this all the way up to the top. Basically, what the fuck? Oh, there we go. Come on. So basically, you can make whatever curve you want. I started with this one. Whatever the you can choose your own. Just make your own. They're all like pretty fucking easy to do. You gotta fill around with it and see which ones you want to do. Then I went and so this would be like if that makes any fucking sense. Then this one I had just one big and one down. Usually the performer, I try to make it to restart, so you go back to load curve, make sure it's restarting, so that means every time you press the note it'll start going again. So I had performer number 5 into this one, into this one. So I had it cranked up all the way to the right. This one cranked up pretty much all the way. Where else did I have 5? I had 5 cranked here, 5 in here. This one I had all the way to the left. This one I had all the way to the right again. This 5 again in here. This one I had all cranked all the way to the right. And I had this modulating the cutoff frequency of the first filter. This one pump it all the way up. Put it into this section, crank it up to about there. I don't know, that's like facing with the M here. And then I had a little smidgen, a bit of it onto the second one, just a little bit, so right under the T, or between the T and the O. And I believe that was it for, how's that sounding? Yeah, that sounded pretty sweet. So once you start actually using the modulation section, it started to sound pretty badass. Okay, there's that. What else did I have? I had a P shaper, which is a parabolic shaper. And that one I had up to about 3 o'clock. The drive up to facing the E. Second insert I had, it was another parabolic shaper. And I had them just cranked up to 12 o'clock. That really gives it that wide aggressive sound. You can already tell it's getting mad aggressive. I had, where is it? This classic tube going on here. I put that one up to a little bit. This gives it like a little, much wider, chorusy effect. Then I had dimension expansion. Oh no, yeah, I always put dimension expansion on stuff just because I really like the dimension expander. And I had it up to about there. Size, had it low because it's already a pretty massive sound going on. I also had a performer, which is right here. No, this is a performer. I mean, stepper. And I had the 5th one up and the 13th. Why I picked those numbers, I have no idea. Yeah, amp all the way up. And I had 6 mapped to the amp here. This other amp here, all the amps basically. So I must have been doing, I don't know, I'm not even sure if I used this part of it, but I had that one all cranked, had them all cranked all the way to the left. Yeah, I guess it just turned it off or some shit. So you can ignore that last step if you want to. It doesn't really matter. But it's sounding pretty aggressive. Let's go that one. Pretty aggressive. You can fuck around with some other shit like this bass. That gives it a little bit more growly actually. That's the general preset of it. It's like a Skrillex-y bass. I would definitely EQ the shit out of this if I think in the song that I was working on, I didn't even, yeah, I had fucking just a sauce fattener on it. But if I were to do this, to use this in a song in the future, I would put an EQ8 on it. This is a really important tip for synthesis and sound design. So when you have your sound, this is already ridiculously massive. Definitely turn the volume down. When you have this sound, I would make a little loop. Insert MIDI clip. Whatever, we'll put in D. I would have loop the shit out of that. Have the maybe put the sustain down so it's like, that sounds pretty cool. But I would cut off, I cut off the low ends. Just because you don't want that messing with your sub. And then what you do is you click one of these ones and crank up the Q, crank up the gain. You obviously, I learned this from Lucky Date, like watching one of his videos. You can't, there's no way you could be able to tell. I'll be able to explain this to you by listening to the video. But try this yourself. Put this out here like this. And then slowly hold down command and slowly go through the fucking spectrum. There's going to be artifacts in there that just sound like fucking garbage. And once you find them, like this right here sounds like a weird tube action. So all you do, you found this is a problem area, all you do is you just cut it straight out. That already sounds fucking way better. Do this with both your synths. I do this on every single sound that I make, and every single sound, unless it's like been mastered beforehand, I'll use this on every single sound. Sometimes there's like 5 or 6 things that you need to get out of there, so it could look like just a bunch of cuts, just like that. And really, it doesn't affect the actual sound. It just takes out the shit that you don't need in it. And this sound, I can already tell, has a bunch of shit that I wouldn't want in it. That would also, along with this, I would do, so this would just be like initial cuts, and then later in like the mastering or mixing down phase, if I needed to make some more room, I'd do like small cuts or like boost or whatever. But for this point, right after I make the synth, I always fucking do this thing to get all the unwanted artifacts out of it. Alright, hope you learned something today. That was how to make this crazy Skrillex-y bass. Hit me up if you have any other ones. I got a tune coming out today, actually, it came out today. It's called Paid to Party. Check it out, there's a link right there. I should put it, right there maybe. Also got a tight ass sweet bootleg for you guys next week. I'll show you how to make one of the sounds in it. It's TJR and Gantman. They're old, like, it's like a cult classic track called Juke It Like a Hoe. So we got this broad DJ Rihanna to do a cover of it. It turned out mega sick, so it'll be up for free download like right away, probably next week. So keep subscribe, check out my tutorials and shit. Like my Facebook, you know the drill. Peace.